let everybody. There we go. We got some people logging on, still coming in. Perfect. We'll give everyone just another minute or so. I'm sure some people will come in as we go. Katie, I'm going to make you a co-host. So while I'm doing the intro, if people are coming in, you can let them in. But welcome, everyone, to our Team USA training and tactics session with Paralympian Justin Phongsavanh, part of the 2021 Angel City Summer Series presented by the Hartford. We're very honored to have Justin with us as he's heading to Tokyo in a couple of weeks. He's very busy training. He was training just a couple hours ago, so let's show him some love. Thank you, Justin. Before we get started, we have a couple just reminders. Please remain on mute during the duration of the session so everyone can hear Justin. If you have a question or comment, though, definitely put it in the chat. We'll read them out to Justin. If we have time at the end, you might be able to come off mute and ask him the question yourself. We also recommend if you go to the top right corner of your Zoom, you can put it on active speaker so you can see Justin on the bigger screen. Another quick Zoom note for everyone tuning in. Make sure your name matches your name that you registered for the Angel City Summer Series so you can get your 10 points, because every 100 points you'll unlock more swag and cool prizes. We're also very fortunate to have our medical team here, so thank you, medical team. If you have any questions or you're feeling sick, following along, or feel like you have an injury, you can message them directly. And of course, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our incredible sponsors. Of course, a huge thank you to the Hartford, the presenting sponsor of the 2021 Angel City Summer Series, and looking beyond, all along with our sports sponsors, the Hanger Clinic, Fox Sports, and Gold Meets Gold. And so thank you, everyone, for being here. Now I'd like to introduce Justin. Justin just recently set the world record in men's F54 seated javelin, and he's heading to Tokyo for his first Paralympic Games. If you've been to the Angel City Games, you've definitely seen Justin. He's the very muscular man crushing it out there on the field. He has a huge smile. We're super, super happy that he could take the time to join us. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Justin.
Yeah, so you guys can all hear me okay, right? Perfect. So thanks for the great introduction, Josh. I appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, I'm getting ready to go up to Tokyo here on August 10th to compete on September 3rd for javelin. So I'm going to go through some of the workouts, the warm-ups that we go through. Every single day we do these warm-ups. I'm not kidding. Monday through Saturday, we do the same warm-up and the same quick, dynamic, just band work. So all you need for this is a band. I'm actually going to use a backrest. It's just a pole. If you have a pole or something that you can just hold on to with your body weight that won't move, it's going to make things a lot easier. And obviously, depending on your disability and the category in which you compete, a pole is actually what you're going to use to throw with. So I'm a seated thrower. My specialty is javelin. I only do javelin, but I've thrown shot put, I've thrown discus, I've, the national record in all those events for my class. So all of these can be applicable to your sport. And if they need any modification, you can DM me directly, or, someone at Angel City can also modify some of these things to help to your needs. First and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to warm up the biggest muscle that we use as throwers. That's our shoulders. Our shoulders need to be in pristine condition at all times. Without our shoulders, we can't move around in wheelchairs. Life just gets a little bit more miserable. So we want to warm those up. First thing we're going to do, band around the hand. Our thumb's just going to hold it. I usually like to hold it with my bottom 3 fingers just so the band doesn't move. And I'm going to make my thumb straight up in the air, flat. I'm going to tuck my elbow into my side. So this is all flat too. And all I'm going to do is hold the other side with some tension. And I'm going to move externally out. See how I'm not moving the shoulder, and I'm trying to keep my elbow into my body as much as possible to make sure that the bottom part of my shoulder is still relaxed, but also getting some stretch. So we're warming it up. So all we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do 2 sets of 10. So it's just as easy as making sure there's slack. You want some tension, don't do too much to where it's a workout. If you're using it as a workout, go more tension if you want. But for me, I do it as a warm up before I throw. I do all these before I throw. So have some tension, elbow in, externally rotate. Don't go too far, and you just keep it here. You'll feel the tension on the bottom part of the shoulder. 2 by 10, right side, same thing, left side, having it on the hand, grabbing at the bottom 3 fingers to create tension and grip. Keep the elbow in and just externally rotate. Those are just 2 easy ones to get the bottom part of the shoulder up. Next, what we're gonna do is take the band. We're gonna have palms up. The band's gonna be resting in between. It's the same thing we're doing with the external rotation on the last stretch, but this time we're doing both arms at the same time. We're gonna keep both elbows into the side, and then we're just going to externally rotate. Don't go too far. It's not meant, if you go too far, you might hurt yourself, and that is not what we want. So what we're gonna do is just keep the elbows in, externally rotate. All of these are 2 sets of 10. We don't wanna get too fatigued before we throw because we're probably gonna go out and throw 15, 20 times, and you're gonna get tired from that eventually. So this is just to warm up the muscles to make sure they're firing right. So like I said, 2 by 10, keep the elbows in and externally rotate. That's it. Next, what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna back up so I have a backrest so I don't fall. And what we're gonna do is now palms down on the band, same deal, but this time more slack. And what we're gonna do is straight out, elbows locked, and we're just going to open up, and we want the band to touch our chest. That's how we know we get a good stretch. And if you want, depending on your sport, of course, with javelin, you need a ton of flexibility. Shot put, you don't need as much flexibility. Discus, this is a fantastic stretch to learn how to open up your arms and really reach backwards with a tall chest. So on these, tall chest, almost perch it out, elbows locked, and then put your chest into it. Make sure that band touches your chest. You can even go backwards after it hits your chest. Just don't go too far. You don't want to hurt the back of your shoulders or anything. And just making sure that we're working the back of our shoulders to get those warmed up, because when we throw a shot put, it's a muscle, this huge muscle we're using, the teres major, and the rhomboids, everything. And so you got to warm up the back of the shoulder. 2 by 10, same deal. If it's too much volume after those last 2 on the shoulders, taper it down. Just taper everything down. Instead of 2 by 10, go 2 by 6, 2 by 8. It's to whatever you can handle. Next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same thing. Instead of here, now we're gonna bring it up, and we're gonna go behind the head. See how my arms are now flat? Boom. And there's still a little bit of tension, but not a ton. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go fast, but don't go fast, go slow, feel the tension. Static movements, which means movements where you're just sitting and having tension against it, are all right. But before a hard workout, you want to get those muscles moving. You want to get that blood flowing. So when you actually get there, because these field events that we're doing, shot put, discus, especially for the high schoolers, are all about speed. That's what Team USA preaches, is speed, speed, speed. When we are throwing, all we want to do is throw as fast as we can, because the faster we can get from one motion to the other, there's more force behind it, and you're gonna get strength behind it. You do not need to worry about, pressing as hard as you can. If you can get that hand to move fast, you are going to go far. And then it's all about fine tuning it into getting it where you want it for your technique. If you want the height, if you want, angle, just different things. So like I said, we're gonna go up here, 2 by 10, making sure the band goes behind the neck, making sure those elbows get locked out and they're flat like that. This is the auxiliary one. If you want to do this, you can. This one's a killer. I do this probably like half the week, just because after those, 4 shoulder workouts, my shoulders are pretty dead. But if you're doing this as a workout, send it. We grab one part of the band because it's a loop. We grab one part, palms down. Then what we're gonna do is thumbs up, elbows in. We're gonna pull it out a little bit to create tension, and all we're gonna do is push straight up with that tension. If you can do 2x10, you're going places. That is a hard workout. Lastly, we're just gonna get rid of the band. We're gonna find a pole or a door, a wall, something. And all we're gonna do is reach as tall as you can, grab it below, and you wanna stretch your lats. It's the muscle right underneath your shoulder. It's this big bulk of just, seems like wings. So we're gonna reach up, we're gonna lean into it and just use our body weight to pull us down and really stretch those lats. I'm sore right now and I can really feel these. Second thing too, that another stretch that I do, this is a static stretch, so you don't want to hold it that long before you throw. Is all I'm going to do. This is great for discus or javelin. Same with shot put. Is we're going to reach back, and then we're just going to turn away from it. This is going to be great for discus because you come here in discus, and then it extends like that. And it's great for javelin because you come here and then you throw like that. So great. And you want to stretch that chest. Shot put, major in chest. Shot put is mostly chest, rotator cuff, and shoulder and back. So you want to make sure that chest is stretched, especially when you're leading with your chest super hard on a good shot put throw. Stretching all those things. Some sports specific. So for shot put, mostly, I know most Paralympic throwers start with shot put, especially in high school. They have only shot put. So another great workout that we do with the band is we will tie the band around like a pole or a door or something. And then all we do, make sure it's, upwards. So right behind you. This might even be a little too low. So you keep it up. And then all we're going to do is on our throwing arm, so we're going to imitate a shot put throw. You probably want less slack. And all we're going to do, tall chest, if you have a pole to hold on to, fantastic. If you have someone behind you that can hold the pole for resistance against you for the shot put, beautiful, because then they can control the tension in which you go. All this is doing is reinforcing those little muscles that are firing with you when you're doing shot put and getting you into the positions that you need to be in to have a successful shot put throw. So we're going to sit tall, elbow out sideways, and then we just press. That's it. And then on these, because there's resistance going backwards, work on your speed. Like I said before, when you're throwing shot put, speed is what is the deciding factor of how far your throws can go. When you watch any other shot putter, their strength is almost not as important as it is when it comes to technique and speed. So yeah, you can be the strongest guy, but if you're the fastest guy, you're probably going to win more times than not in the Paralympics. So just making sure you come here and just explode in the right technique with the speed through it, and you're going to be great. So like I said, we do these when we throw shot put, and we just have it in position. Here's the shot put, which is the band. Then all we do is just press it fast. And like I said, Team USA, we preach speed, and that's the biggest thing. We preach speed, endurance, and just staying healthy. It's super easy to get lost in just being the strongest guy, working out, and then going out and just pushing a shot put or throwing a discus as hard as you can. And you'll start to notice that even when you try super hard for throwing these implements as far as you can, it actually doesn't equate to a further throw. It's the craziest thing, especially when I throw javelin. I'll just try to use all my strength and throw the jab, and it won't go anywhere. But then when I relax, focus on my points and positions where I need to hit it, and I put speed through the implement, we say in javelin, throwing through the tip. The same is comparable to discus and shot put. When you throw through the shot. And if you start splitting forces, like if you're rotating outwards and it goes out, your forces are getting split. Now you're moving outwards, and then you have to go through it instead of taking the path easiest traveled and just going straight through it. Same thing with discus. If you're starting from too low and you try to go up high, you're moving forces. Now the probability of you having a bad throw goes way higher. And so, and we're all about consistency. When you go to a major championship, you could go in ranked number one, but if you don't perform on that given day, then it doesn't mean anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, you still get to go and it's still great. You have a great time because number one thing is having fun. But like I said, we preach speed and endurance and just health. We want to make sure you are healthy. And even if you are hurt, if you are like there's a nagging injury or even a soft injury, please, please, please consult a medical professional and get it addressed to make sure, because small things turn into big things very, very quick, especially as Paralympic athletes. If you're in a wheelchair or you have mobility issues or a visual impairment, you are more prone to getting an injury just from living every day than a normal person. So please reach out to a medical personnel if you do have an injury. And then I think that's about it.
No, thank you for going through the workout. We have some questions rolling in. Before we get to those questions, though, I'll ask you one of my questions to start. So for everyone in here who's like wondering, what is it like in a day in the life at the Olympic Training Center and the Paralympic Training Center? Like from morning to night, how does it roll? What's your day like?
Yeah, so as you can see, like behind me, this is the field. This is that's another Paralympic throwing cage. All of this is where all of the Olympians throw. This is where I throw. You can see my chair over there. I'm strapped in. That's where I throw. Then this is the facility. I mean, it is a beautiful facility. So I wake up every morning, 6 a.m. I got to get my central nervous system moving. I also recommend for any athlete, if you are going to compete, try to wake up 4 to 5 hours before your competition. You need that central nervous system to get woken up so you can start firing fast. So wake up at 5 a.m., do my morning stretches, I do my morning routine, drink some coffee, check up on my stocks, I do some other weird stuff. And not weird, just adult things. And then I go to breakfast around 7:30, have a light breakfast before throwing. I don't want to be too bogged down with food and start getting lethargic after a big breakfast, especially the first meal of the day. And I'll come down at 9 a.m. and I'll throw. I don't recommend it for everyone just because I'm a high performing athlete. I throw balls. So actually, I don't only throw javelin. That's the crazy thing too. I'll throw heavy balls, 4-pound balls that are like squishy, and I'll throw them to get warmed up. I'll probably throw those about 10 to 12 times. And then I throw 1-pound mallets straight up over my head. I'll throw like little rubber hammers, and I'll throw those for about 10 to 12 times. And then I'll get into javelins and I'll cycle weights of javelins. So I throw the 600 in competition. I'll start out with the 800. I'll throw about 8 of those, and I'll cycle down to 700. And I'll throw about 10 of those, and then I'll cycle into the 600s and throw about 20 of those. So like I said, my volume is probably not suitable for all athletes. I wouldn't do it. I've been training for this for years at a high level. And so and then after I come here, I eat lunch and I go back to my room. I de-escalate. I recover by hypervolts, which is a massage gun. I have a compression elbow sleeve that's fantastic for my elbow. I recover because recovery is 90% of the battle after you work out. And then I eat dinner and I just hang out, play video games, and talk to my other Paralympic and Olympians.
Nice. How many people type in the chat if you wake up at 5 a.m.? Only truthful answers. I want to see how many people get up at 5 a.m., especially to go work out. No, that's super, super cool. First question we have from somebody is, so how do you time your breathing with your throws?
Great question. So what I do is, so let's say I hold on to a pole. I release all my air before I throw. As I go, slow inhale, And then when I'm ready to throw, I have my lungs about 60% filled with air. And then I almost hold my breath, and it's just like a, and then when I get ready to throw, I flex those muscles and everything's firing. I let go, and then immediately I let out a yell. I mean, it comes natural. I don't know if it's just a thrower thing or what happens, but I let out a yell and a grunt, and then if it feels good and it goes far, then I give my other scream and yell after I catch my breath. But it's basically just timing the rhythm of your throw. So if you believe it or not, you actually do stop breathing when you throw. Like you're not gonna like let out a quick inhale and exhale. If anything, it's gonna be like you stop, you throw it, and then you go. It's like that. So what I do is when I'm pumping up my throw, I go let out my breath, bah, just like that. So there's
Nice.
no timing.
Okay, good. Next question is, if you're going to do all three implements in one training session, is that normal? Is that rare? And if you did train all three implements, what order would you do them, do you think?
I absolutely do not train 3 implements in one session. my my body could not take all those movements. I did do all 3 when I first started for the first couple of years. But that was basically just my trial period. I wanted to feel out these other implements. And when you start getting to a high performing level, sometimes the classifications, how they group them, are not in favor for you. Sometimes you're competing against people of more able body or less impairment. And so you kind of got to pick the one that is suitable for you, that you're excelling in, that you can grow in the most. So like I tried shot put, and then I got grouped with people with less impairment. So it wasn't for me. Same thing with discus. Javelin, I actually was categorized in groups with people of my own disability. So it was on equal playing field. So I decided to carry on with that one professionally. And if I wouldn't ever recommend doing all 3, just because it's super strenuous on your body. And the trainings for shot put and discus and javelin are completely different when you want to do sport oriented training. So if I had to recommend it, I would try to find one, especially javelin. If you're javelin specific, you need to be a specialist of javelin, because it's not the same as shot put. If you train for shot put and you're a javelin thrower, you're not going to reach your maximum potential as a javelin thrower. And same thing with shot put. If you're training for javelin but you're a shot putter, it goes vice versa. But if I had to train all 3, like I said, don't recommend it. But if I had to do all 3, I would probably do discus first, shot put, and then javelin last.
Good advice. Like I said, it's a weird question. If you could do all 3, you got a spot waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly.
This next question is, how many times a week do you practice your javelin throws? And then, like, what do you do the rest of the week? Is there some days just for lifting? Is it throwing every day?
These are fantastic questions. So the volume of throwing actually depends on where I'm at in the season. Let's say our season starts in May, and it's January. I'm actually going to not throw as much, and I'm going to get my body in really good condition to start handling the high volume of throwing later on in the year and refining those skills. So in January, February, and March, I'm actually working out 3 to 4 times a week and then throwing twice. And on those workouts, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do strength and conditioning. And then on the same days, we do a stretching circuit in the morning. And that's just to preserve our bodies, to make sure that when we go into the weight room and we're pushing heavy weights or moving weights fast, that we can handle it and we're warmed up. Tuesday, Thursdays, I'll throw. Saturdays, auxiliary. So we come down, we do film study, we do positioning drills, we do light stretches, dynamic things like plyometrics. And that's only for the first, quarter of the year. And then once competitions start rolling around, we actually taper down on the workouts, only because we just did 3 months heavy cycle. So we taper down and we'll start throwing 3 times a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll throw. Tuesday, Thursdays, we'll do our stretching circuit and lifting circuit. And Saturday, we always do film study and review. And that's just, it all depends on how how good your cycle was through and how where your body's at for, conditioning.
Nice. Okay. Good. Next question is not throwing related, but it is fun. And Micah wants to know, so what is your favorite video game?
Call of Duty. That's all I play. 24/7.
Nice.
I don't venture outside of it.
Right on Call of Duty, Micah. There you go. Another question is, what exercises do you do to focus on your non-throwing arm to stay balanced and things like that?
Everything's equal, no matter what we do. So for javelin, it's super. I mean, we're flexible. We are always flexible, and believe it or not, my right arm is bigger than my left. Don't know if it's genetics, but my left arm is stronger than my right arm. I think it's also a function of the pull. And so, but everything you do, it has to be uniform. You got it. If you curl, 30 pounds 10 times in the left arm, you got to curl 30 pounds in the right arm. And so everything stays, equal balance. So when it comes down to it, you are equal on either side, and that's majorly important.
Nice. Okay, just a couple more questions. One question I have for you is, what was it like to break the world record? Obviously, you're trying to do your best every meet, but what was it when they told you the official measurement? What was going through your head? Like,
so believe it or not, guys, I made my first national team in 2018 in Ireland at an IWAS competition. I threw 28:01, and that was my PR at the time in the A standard then. And when at that point, I decided to quit every other implement, and I decided to put all my focus on javelin. And in the next 2 years, from 2019, my season started, and I threw 30.56 that year. And then COVID happened, so I trained on my own, no competitions. 2021 came around, I threw 33.29. The world record at the time was 31.90. I was actually the second person in history to ever hit 31. I did it actually 4 times in a meet. And so when I actually hit that world record, believe it or not, I didn't think it was a good throw. It came out of my hand, and I knew it was clean, and I knew it was gonna go, probably the distance that I was expecting, which was just mid 30s, maybe 31s. And when it hit 33, they did a mark and they told me the measurement, and I couldn't believe it. And I told them out, and everyone's like, "What was it? What was it?" Because I was just ecstatic. I was dumbfounded by shock. And I told everyone in the crowd, I was like, "Shh, just wait. You'll hear it in a minute. And you'll see it on the scoreboard." And then when it finally happened, and it was an official mark with the laser and the steel tape, I was ecstatic. It's just an overwhelming feeling of dedication and hard work for years into a specific goal of just making the team and it being the best I can. And when you actually hit a mark that no one's ever hit in history, it's an incredible feeling, and it's unfathomable. It's like, I would think it's like winning a Super Bowl, but I don't have that kind of expertise.
hey, you think you said it. I think it could be better than winning a Super Bowl. That's something nobody else has ever done. That's incredible. I can only imagine what that's like. We're so happy for you with that.
Thank you.
Couple more questions. Do you have a routine in the minutes before you throw in a competition to get your head right? What is your like, about to go?
That's a good one. So we like to bring the band, and like I said, I do that stretching circuit before every day. I do it, and I will do it right before the competition. I'll probably taper it down to like 1 set of 10, and I don't want to be too sore. And so when I'm seated throws, you wait your turn depending on where you're at in the seed. You wait, so you got to watch probably 3-4 dudes compete before you, and then maybe 3 or 4 people after you. And so it's nerve-wracking, and if someone pops off in a big throw, what I do is I see he had a big throw, and I get into my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna throw further than that guy. I'm gonna do it all. But where it gets tricky is when you're on your 4th or 5th throw and nothing's going good. It's not going to how you want it to be, and that's when you got to flip the switch. You have to come back to reality and realize, hey, I'm here. I'm right now. Only thing that I'm going to be upset about is if I don't try my best. And that's all anyone and you can ask for, is to go out there and do your best. And regardless of the situation, be happy you're there, be happy you have competitors to push you, and just go out there and literally do your best. So if nothing's going right, I take a deep breath and I say, let's just do our best. Let's do what we are capable of, and hopefully, things go right.
I love that. It sounds like you're a fellow subscriber to my theory. If you have fun and focus on the sport, the results will take care of themselves.
Absolutely correct.
That's what I like to tell young athletes. And then I got one more question, if no more come into the chat, but what is the favorite place you've traveled or competed so far? And what are you most looking forward to about Tokyo outside of the competition?
So pre-COVID travel was so nice. I'm not even gonna lie. So I think probably the best place I've been to, it's probably tied between two, only because, so when I went to Italy, I'm a huge history buff, and I love when I go places and there's history. Because being in a wheelchair, I can't go scale a mountain as easy or go on a hiking trail. And so you really just have to embrace in the world wonders and the history that's gone through in a country that you've never been to. So when I went to Italy and I was able to see like the Roman Colosseum, the Vatican, the whole, we went to Venice and Florence, and we saw all of it. And it's a whole different culture. And it was incredible, and it's beautiful. The people are nice. The accents are beautiful. The food was great. Italy was it was breathtaking, and it was super nice and fairly accessible. And then the second place that's probably tied was Dubai. I mean, talk about one of the richest countries in the world. Everything is extravagant. The markets are incredible. The people are nice-ish, and yeah, there was just things you go and you see that are a luxury here are common there. You see Ferraris, Lamborghinis, big buildings, skyscrapers, architecture that you've never seen before, things that would cost $1 million over here that are average over there. And it was just absolutely phenomenal. And what I'm looking forward to at the games, because we're really restricted. Like if we test positive for COVID, we ship straight home. You have to stay in a hospital for 72 hours and get, treated. And it's the end of your Paralympic career or your Paralympic debut. And so you got to kind of keep to yourself. And we're tested regularly. So we can't step outside the village, but I mean, we're still in a village with elite athletes from all over the world, and it's super cool. Honestly, what I'm looking forward to the most, believe it or not, is the food. Usually notoriously village food is not great, but I've seen the Olympians post and it looks phenomenal. I'm talking, I'm Asian American, so I love my Asian inspired food, and Japanese food is nothing to mess with. It's so good. And they got sushi, and then they have stations from like 10 other countries. So you can go and stop at any station on any given day and get food galore as much as you want, and Coca-Cola machines that are open to all Coca-Cola products that you can get into and have everything free. And I'm looking forward to the food and the pins. Every country gets a handful of pins, and you can go and you could trade with other people, which you have to do at a 6 foot. So you're just basically playing catch with other countries. But yeah, the pin collection is super cool because they're all unique to their country.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I love these behind the scenes things most people might not even know about in the village and going and doing that stuff. Micah was cheering real hard. So Micah, you got to keep practicing. One day you're going to be going to Dubai and you'll get to see all the crazy stuff and everything. So
absolutely.
But I don't have any more questions. So I think we're going to wrap. That was amazing, Justin. Thank you so much. We loved having you. Of course, again, we know how busy you are. We really, really appreciate it.
Of course.
Also, a big thank you to all of our sponsors, Looking Beyond, Fox Sports, the Hanger Clinic, Gold Meets Golden, and the Hartford, of course. For those of you who are participating in the summer series, coming up next, we're going to have judo with Robert Tanaka. So if you want to learn about judo for the blind and visually impaired, that's coming up in about 25 minutes. And then we're going to have our final Angel 5K training boost because we have the big race coming up on August 7th. So it's not too late to sign up for the race. You can do it in person at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, or virtual. So please join us. Stay tuned. Stay updated. Let's give one more big good luck to Justin. We're going to be rooting so hard for you, buddy. We good thoughts and vibes the whole time. I can't wait to watch you on TV, and I hope maybe you set another record. Come home with some hardware.
We'll see. I'm gonna go out there and just do my best.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Good luck, everybody.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.